I need to get on your good side again.
This today's pack fell off.
I know who's doing that.
Yes.
Okay. Very good. So what I was going to say is I was going to pretend that Tinder is not my cup of tea, but that's not necessarily speaking true because I'm a superficial bitch, so I love Tinder. Unfortunately, it's not really good for my hands because after only a few hours, I got carpal tunnel syndrome from swiping to the left so much because I'm not only a superficial bitch, I also have standards higher than a pothead in a marijuana plantation. By the way, carpal tunnel, if you haven't heard of it, it's a repetitive strain injury. It's if you do the same motion over and over again. Some people get it from wanking. So I do have a little bit of experience with dating sites. That is to say, I have the same relationship with dating sites that smoking have with cigarettes. I can quit anytime, and I have quit many times. It's some kind of level of frustration either with the real world or with the dating site. But it's it's an illusion because basically a dating site is exactly the same as dating in real life, only the spelling is much worse. So yes, I have to admit I am a grammar Nazi, but hey, I have to do something for my Austrian heritage, right? Because correcting other people's grammar is exactly the same thing as invading Poland and killing lots of people. So I'm Austrian, I speak German, so why don't I just, correct German speakers and stick with German, which is a beautiful worldly language for lots of writing and literature and all that crap. Yeah, right. Do you speak German? Exactly, very good. But the thing is, German native speakers can't spell either. And the problem with German is that it is broken. Because there is no way of concisely saying something. Okay, this is going to be linguistics, you're going to be bored out of your head. There's no way of concisely saying anything in a non-gendered way in German. As in you have, because every word, every noun in German has a gender. You have the masculine and the feminine, which should be clear, and you have the neutrum, which is reserved for some inanimate objects and girls. So this is why I like English. It has almost no gender nouns, so you can say things and be kind of broad. Unfortunately, a lot of native speakers take that as an excuse to assign the masculine to almost everything, unless it's a ship or a dinosaur trying to kill you in Jurassic Park. But the beautiful thing about English is the swear words. And I'm going to sound like the singer of a new metal band for a moment because I'm going to tell you a few of my favorite swear words. Bollocks, wanker, pillock, bastard. I can't even, basically if it sounds wonderful, if it's more or less, a lot of the words, if they begin with a P sound, we can probably use to insult someone. And then there is my favorite word, or one of my favorite words, which sounds like you're getting slapped across the face with a wet hamster, and that's what. Twat. Just imagine someone with a wet hamster going unfortunately, though, English is obviously a minefield of double entendres. Like a friend of mine, she's got a cat, and that cat got too close to the flame of a candle and set itself ablaze. So my friend tweeted that her pussy was on fire. So yeah, Twitter. Another wonderful example of bird-based puns. Like a friend of mine told me, I was speaking English and she said, you used a word that no one understands. And I said, what word is that? And she said, shagging. And I said, right, okay, now I have to explain what that means. It is when two people co-join a carnal riot, otherwise known as fucking. And a shag, so is a fuck, but it is also a bird, in the same way that a cock is a bird, or that, say, blue-footed boobies are birds, or great tits. So every time someone says the phrase, calm your tits, I imagine myself talking very reassuredly to a small bird and saying, it's going to be alright.
Can you demonstrate?
Is there something wrong with your eyes? And something, though, that always baffles me is when people use the word baby to say to their spouse or the person they're interested in. It's like, as a term of endearment, the word baby is incredibly mind-boggling. Don't get me wrong, babies are brilliant creatures. Like, they've got supercomputer brains and they have to process all the information, and they their brains are always doing like so much more than any other brain can handle. So they're like super powered or something. But that is not really what they're doing on the outside. What babies are doing on the outside is expel sound and matter at both ends. Basically, they cry, they shit, they vomit, and they fart a lot. So why you would call someone you want to maybe have sex with something that hasn't yet gained control over its bodily functions isn't quite clear to me. And also, why would you use that word to replace every other word in your song lyrics if you're a pop singer? I mean, I'm not pointing any fingers, I'm just in the Basically, you can write a pop hit if you just string together the words, yeah, baby, baby, yeah, baby, baby, yeah, baby, yeah, baby, 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 baby. It's like, I'm sorry, did you just have a stroke? Or did you just invent the most retarded form of Morse code that
Justin Bieber is amazing.
Of course. The only time when I can excuse someone using the phrase "my babies" is when you're a Tumblr user talking about the Avengers.